Captain, this is the Dragon. This is the Dragon. We have a successful liftoff, and I can tell you, it's curved. We are cruising at a nice 44,000 kilometers an hour. I want to thank you all today for flying on Kev Express.
Yes, indeed. We're back, we're live, and today we're coming to you from a really crazy, strange location. Scott Lopez. How you doing, brother? Are you strapped in, man? Dude.
The weightlessness, I feel.
Things are floating about. No. We get a little seasick here by the end of the show. You space sick, right? Not seasick. People will think we're faking it all, Scott. Dang. How you doing, big man? How you doing?
Doing good. Hey, Elon, can I hitch a ride on the next SpaceX? Because I really want to get off this planet sometime soon.
Yeah, even Anne today, she was looking at that, and I says to her, would you? Not even a hesitation, bro. Oh, you absolutely better believe it. And I'm thinking, yep, I'm about ready for strapping myself onto the most powerful candle right now that was on the face of the planet. And he done it. Hey, yes, indeed.
Yes.
I was very nervous, Scott. I'm telling you, I was like a kid waiting for Christmas, man. My hands were getting sweaty about 3 hours out from the launch. The guys weren't even on the launch pad yet, and I was getting nervous. But did you enjoy it? Did you watch it at all?
Yep. Actually, the whole family watched it. It's a historic event, right? I mean, first time since 2011 that we've been able to launch astronauts from the United States. We don't have to keep paying those pesky Ruskies to launch our astronauts into space. I mean, that's kind of, ever since we started doing that, I mean, how humiliating is that? That, like, the supposed superpower of the globe don't even have the ability to put its own astronauts into space. It's kind of humiliating, and that we have to pay the Russians, our supposed adversaries, right?
I thought your lot won that space race, Scott. What happened there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's good to see that we're rebooting our space program and getting the private sector involved, which is always better in general because you put the government in charge of anything, and we all know how government works.
Wonderful.
So,
well, no red tape, no bureaucracy. Everything goes smoothly.
Yeah. And you could see, like, just how much more high tech and streamlined and modernized everything is now compared to, say, the space shuttle.
And may I add, Scott, sorry, but looking very dapper as well. Hey, man, if you want to be an astronaut, that suit is the thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, you compare the flight suits, the spacesuits, to what NASA was using before, I mean, total night and day difference. It looks way more comfortable than those bulky ass spacesuits that they used to wear, man. I mean,
that there's a good look. That there's a good look, right? But I don't know if I'd be too keen on like the kind of wellies that they've got on. I think that kind of spoils it. They should have gone for a white look. Maybe, something Nike, something cool. I don't know, Scott.
yeah, the sort of yeah, the
Look at that.
the
I
fishing.
mean, look at that. Come on. Even I get proud and I'm not American, man. Dang.
Yeah, it does. It just looks a lot cooler. Let's just admit it.
I mean, if
looks cool.
Hollywood was doing a rocket launch, that's how they would look. I think it's starting to look more like the movies. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
We're catching up with the movies.
Yeah, every time you see a movie representing some kind of future space flight, it's like the streamlined suits and the helmets with the more kind of high tech look to them and all that stuff.
But Scott, only Elon Musk, right? Only Elon Musk could design his spacesuit with superheroes and a tuxedo in mind, right? Because it says here, Michael Bay, the director of the 1988 cosmic disaster movie Armageddon, once gave an interview discussing the worst crisis in the making of the film. 3 weeks before our first day of principal photography, I went to see the spacesuits, Bay said. They looked like an Adidas jogging suit on a rack. That's where I almost killed myself, because he said, if you don't have a cool looking spacesuit, the whole movie is sunk, and I agree. And apparently, Elon Musk subscribes to the same school of thought. Or so it seems, judging from the black and white launch and the re-entry suits astronaut Robert Behnken and Douglas Hurley will wear when they hop into their white and black Tesla and ride to Cape Canaveral launch pad to climb into the white and black SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule for the maiden voyage as we watch today, Scotty boy. So yes, there you go, man. Pretty cool, huh?
That's kind of that's one of the things I like about Musk as well. Like when he does something, he also he does it with style. He always feels that there's got to be some like cool aesthetic to it, and it's like the Tesla truck thing. I know a lot of people are like turned off by the design in the beginning, like what is
Huh?
Bobbins Doug McKenzie, take off A. To the Great White North. PPP love to the chat fam. Smiles for miles.
Oh, Polly. Thank you, brother. And, yeah, sorry, Scotty. You were saying there, man, but awesome, Polly. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Polly. No, he just seems like that. He feels when he does something, it also has got to have that cool factor. It's got to have that a certain aesthetic to it too. And like I said, when he launched the Tesla truck thing, a lot of people was like, well, it don't look like a regular truck. Well, no, it's not supposed to look like a regular truck. We've been making trucks that look like trucks for how long? I mean, it's like a dated design. He's trying to bring like a new design aesthetic to the table. Of course, I mean, I like art, right? I do art and stuff like that. So I mean, I see kind of where he's coming from on that. Like, you just can't keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Design's got to change and looks got to change. I personally love the way the Tesla truck looks. I like it a lot.
It's cyberpunk, man. It's dragging us into the future. We're having to catch up with the future now, man.
Well, the thing is everybody sits there and they like bitch and moan about how come things aren't like what the movies predicted back in the day, but then when somebody presents like an actual product that looks like something that the movies predicted back in the day, then people bitch and moan about it. Oh, that looks ugly. It looks weird, you know. And when the thing is that, look, a lot of people are stubborn. They don't like change, obviously. So when you present them a radical new thing, they immediately kind of recoil from it because it's different, you know. But I'm not one of those people. I really like to embrace change and something new, you know, something people thinking outside the box, you know. And Elon's one of those people. He's not sitting here thinking about how to reinvent the wheel, really. I mean, he's thinking about the new wheel, if you will. I mean, I don't know. It's he's wanting to push things forward and stop trying to just improve on, you know, put like a fresh coat on an old thing. He just wants to make a new thing, you know.
He's totally, I mean, today, I mean, it was historic for a number of reasons, but he has just absolutely rewritten spaceflight and the cost of it and opening it up literally to now where it is viable. You know, they will look back maybe in 100 years at this and they'll say, you know, this really marked a big landmark on the way to us becoming a spacefaring civilization, you know?
And that's nothing that could have been done if the government was in charge of it still. Because do you think the government has that? See, the thing is that the government goes through so much bureaucracy, so much red tape. Everything's got to be done in this certain way, and it's all about, like, you don't have a government guy there sitting about thinking about how cool can we make the spaceship look.
Yeah, you don't have to go through 5 committees just to figure out whether you can change like one of the stickers on the side of it. You know?
You know, yeah, exactly. And you know, that's just how that's just what makes it cool, and it pushes the innovation. Like, okay, you know how Jay Leno, he's really into cars. I don't know if you've seen.
I know who he is. Yeah, talk show host guy.
Yeah, he's really, really big into cars, and I think he's got a show or something on YouTube, or a little thing he does on YouTube where he talks about his cars and all of that stuff. But he got to drive a Cybertruck. You know, he met up with Elon, and he got to drive the Cybertruck, and you know, they're driving it around, and he's like, Tesla or Elon's telling him, yeah, you know, the truck's bulletproof. It can withstand it can withstand small arms fire. And Jay Leno was like, why did you make it bulletproof? And he said, because it's badass. I mean, that was his whole reasoning for it.
Because I can.
Because you know, and that's something like you wouldn't get in a government-run program, you know, right? They're like, well, why do you want to do this? Well, because we can't. No, because you can't, you know. And then they would go, you know, so that's the thing, you know. Elon he does stuff because it's badass, because it's cool.
Because he can. Yeah.
Because he can, you know.
And, let's have a look then, right? We'll head over here and we'll have a look at the moment in question, Scott. Here it is. We got volume.
Dragon, go NASA, go SpaceX, Godspeed, Bob and Doug.
I mean, pretty cool, right?
Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon, go NASA, go SpaceX, Godspeed.
And who have we got to thank for that? Werner von Braun. Eh? A weird, wonderful world we live in, Scotty boy, isn't it?
Paperclip.
Yeah. A little bit of paperclip. Yeah.
A little bit of the paper.
You know, those rockets that once went to London, they served as a good kind of proof of concept for going to the moon one day. You know, if they did. And I know that'll be a contentious point with most of everybody in the chat room. And everyone's got their own take of that. I'm a weirdo. I think they both went and they faked it. I think they went to the moon and they showed us something that they could guarantee was cool.
It's not as cut and dry as everyone thinks, where it's like one or the other. It's a little bit of both. A little bit of both, people. And
There
I
is
think
grey.
you just
It's not just black and white. The grey exists.
yeah, there's a gray area there. Yeah, I
So-
think we went, but there was also a lot of propaganda.
Let me
as
ask
well.
you, right? Because you know where my loyalties lie. I'm a sold out Musk boy every day of the week, dude. A lot of people think he's a good guy. A lot of people think he's a bad guy. Do you think that's just because of that tendency to be, even as much as we deny it, subconsciously kind of jealous of the guy that's got the billions of bucks? Or do you think there's something genuinely we should be concerned about? Or are you like me? Do you think he is the kind of innovator, the kind of game changer that comes along once in a generation, maybe only sometimes once in a couple of generations? They look at a problem totally differently, you know?
I think he's an innovator. I think he's, a genius level savant in his thinking and his vision for the future, and I think a lot of it also has to do with kind of people's gut reaction into thinking that just because somebody has like billions of dollars that they're inherently evil, which I
Stage separation confirmed.
don't ascribe to that. Now there are a lot of people who have billions of dollars that are bad dudes and evil, but this also goes to like blanketing an entire group of people and then putting them all under one umbrella. And once again, it's not as cut and dry as that. I really think that Elon Musk has like a vision for the future, and he wants to see humanity excel and level up technologically and like shoot for the stars and move beyond this planet. And he's just trying to enact his vision for it. I mean, I really don't see anything that he's done that I would say, oh my God, he's such an evil guy. I mean, maybe, okay, so maybe an argument can be made for, say, the neural lace stuff, right? Now that's where you're kind of getting into, well, do I really want to like, merge with AI and, jack my brain into something and all of that? Okay, I could definitely see people's concerns.
Even I find it kind of hard to kind of play cover for him on that one. But at the same time, Scott, we can't ignore the benefits that some people would gain from a technology like that.
Exactly. See, and that's the thing. That's where it's like, do the potential consequences outweigh the benefits? And we don't know. That's the thing. It's an unknown. And the benefits of something like that, like helping people with neurological disorders and issues and brain damage and improving people's quality of life, why would you want to deny that technology and the ability to help somebody? Why would you want to take that away from somebody that you could possibly help? I'm for all technology that could help somebody. I mean, hell, I'm disabled myself. Any technology that could help me in any way, I am all for it. And if somebody is going to sit out there and say that's evil because blah blah blah, screw you. Who are you to tell me that I can't utilize that technology to help me, and improve my quality of life? Just because you have some belief that it may be evil or whatever, that's your opinion. That's your really, that's what it boils down to. That's your opinion. You think it's evil, but for somebody else that could help them and improve their quality of life. So
don't ban cars. Seen cars being used for bad things. I don't see us banning them. There's good and there's bad, and I just think he's all right. I don't think he's like going to Bohemian Grove. I don't think he's like doing any of the nasty shenanigans we've heard about with other people. I don't know. I think he's well, no point in saying what I think, right? Because fully signed up member of the Muskite fan club. But it makes you wonder, right? Because Scotty, here we are today, the year 2020, and we're sending astronauts back up to the space station, lower Earth orbit, and You know, I thought we'd be far further advanced by now. And we've seen the movies over the years, things like that.
Love your channel. Please everyone pray for peace in America tonight. Stay blessed.
Very well said, Star Dreamer, and I'll get Scotty to touch on that before we go anywhere tonight. But yeah, here we are, 2020, reaching for the stars, and we mentioned the moon landing not so long ago, and I'm pretty sure that Stanley Kubrick played a part in filming what we've seen. Again, I still think we went to the moon though, and it's Stanley Kubrick and 2001, the whole movie there. We were talking about that before the show, weren't we? We were talking about the kind of the story of mankind and, you know, this planet and our path to where we are today. And of course, in that show, Scotty Boy, it's got the monkeys, it's got the apes, right? And right at the start of it, you got the big monolith. And then, of course, you see them, they start to gain a little bit of intelligence. And eventually, you have the bone thrown up into the sky, and it cuts to space, and you see the space station. Pretty cool. So I thought it'd be pretty good for us today, Scott, to kind of look at the real world and see, well, how did we get on? You know, how does man do versus a potential candidate for one of the species that we were engineered from? So how far do you think we've come in those years, Scotty boy? I mean, you would think with us reaching today, the historic day, I mean, come on. We're at the height of our intelligence now, right?
We have to be. We have to be at the pinnacle. The pinnacle, right, Kev?
You would think so. I thought today would have been a highlight for mankind. But I think I want to offer the audience the chance to just wait. Just wait. You may want to alter your opinion on how far we've advanced from our primate ancestors. And this all comes in kind of synchronistically with the fact what we were talking about last night on the show on Freaky Friday and things, Scott, right? Alien races been engineered and Jeringa stones and Palladians. And, well, on the same day, that yes, we have blasted off into space, and let's hope this heralds the start of a new space age. I can also tell you that mankind has probably never, ever devolved quite as far from where we should be, especially when you see a story like this, Scott. So you've got drunk man inserts a glass bottle into his body through and it's surgically removed, right? Whilst, versus us, we have got monkeys who are now showing amazing strategy. They're coming up with cunning plans. And they're storming labs and showing, like, tactical skills to go and steal things, Scotty. I mean, who's winning here? Tell me, Scott, man or monkey? At this point, what would you rather be? You couldn't make it up, right?
Are we seeing Planet of the Apes start to come to fruition? Is it starting to unfold?
It's a bit weird, right? But that was a weird story. Let's pull it back up again there just quickly. Let's have a look at this. Because, yeah. Monkey runs away with a hoo-ha test samples after attacking a lab worker in Meerut. A group of monkeys on Friday attacked a lab technician at Meerut Medical College while he was carrying test samples and swab kits taken from suspected patients. So in a video tweeted by a journalist, the monkeys snatched away the swab kits of 3 patients and escaped before the lab technician could do anything. The patients had to redo the test, and a report by the Times now says that the monkeys were later found chewing the samples on the tops of trees. If only I hadn't gone that far in the story, Scott. And why have I not got you on the screen? There you are. If only I hadn't gone that far in the story, then now we see the monkeys devolving again. They're chewing the samples. I was going to say they were maybe going away and testing it in their own labs and things that they've got out in the jungle. But I tell you, dude. And then, like I say, versus this character. Where have you gone? Why aren't you there? Where is Scott gone?
I've been launched out of the airlock. There we go.
There you are, man. Yeah, and just in case you needed like X-ray proof, holy Shimoly, Batman. What is going on there? I mean, what on earth possessed any man to do that?
Excuse me, it's man.
Probably. If you're at that shenanigans, there's a good chance I'll call you man.
Excuse me, it's man.
And you don't want me to kick you up the ass right now, right? That could get messy, you know?
I'm sure his excuse was he slipped and fell.
Shall we investigate, Scott? So
That's always an excuse.
Says doctors at the Nagapattinam Government Hospital were in for a shock on May the 27th, moments after they received an X-ray. Hang on, wait a minute, Scott. After they received the X-ray of the patient, so there was a period when this guy honestly tried to cover for this. He just turned up in the hospital and said, "Oh, you'll never guess what's." He didn't even let on what's happening. Oh, I just got pain in my belly, man. Whoa.
Yeah, I'm sure he was probably in some very excruciating pain and was left with no choice but to go to the doctor or go to the hospital.
The resident from Nagore had arrived with complaints of pain in his rectum and uneasiness. No bloody wonder he was uneasy. I'm telling you. The source of his discomfort soon became clear. A 250 milliliter glass bottle lodged in the patient's sigmoid colon.
How dare you?
Oh, exactly, Greta. We were definitely shocked by what we were seeing, says Dr. P, because I ain't trying that name, the Surgeon General at the hospital, and I have never seen something like this in my entire career so far. I like how he leaves that open-ended, Scott. He's a wise man, he's a realist. He knows there's some freaky deaky stuff going on out there. He knows there's a lot of...
It's man.
You know what I'm saying?
He's like, I haven't seen anything like this, so far.
I know a friend, though, that found a golf club one time. Just saying.
He's like, but I know that the future could lie. There could be some surprises in the future for him. So.
He's a patient whose name has been withheld for privacy reasons. No wonder. Claimed to have been inebriated when he inserted the bottle into following which it entered his... Yeah, we know it. His attempt soon after to remove it failed and he managed to push it further up into his system. Whoa! The doctor states that the patient did not reveal the matter to his family. Oh my lord. 48 hours, Scotty boy, before going and seeking urgent medical attention. Shh, his eyes must have been crossed. Oh, not good.
I don't know. I don't know what to say.
It's like I said to you. It's like I said to you, dude. Man or monkey? Which one's evolving better? Because I think we're going backwards, man. Yep. I know we have to find some balance with the technology in the old world, but not to the point where we're getting outthought by monkeys. You wouldn't even get a monkey doing that to itself. No animal I know would do that to itself, Scott.
Yeah, us humans have a weird way of just
all
putting
of this intelligence, and we put it to what? Trying to fit strange objects into orifices that shouldn't take them. Stop it. Just stop it already. All right? Be the change.
All I gotta say is that it looks like he really found himself in a shitty situation.
Oh! He did that, Scott. He definitely did that, in fact. Could have been worse. He could have been one of those people. If you remember Hangar 18. Trust me, folks. Hangar 18. You had to be there to get that one. But yes, what else have we got here in the grab bag? No, do you know what I'll do, Scott? Since we're flying up here at 200 odd miles altitude, and I'm smiling because one of the things that's trending over on Twitter right now, look at that. Well, we're not even going to mention it. That's why I'm smiling, though, right? No, we're not going there, but real world. We were, I let you unload last night. You were bringing us up to date. What's going on in America? Dude. Ooh, it's getting a bit kind of wily over there, man.
Yeah, so last night, I was gonna kind of decompress and play some Call of Duty, but uh after the show, my brother was like, "Hey, you need to come out here and see what's going on, man." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so I ended up staying up all night watching everything that was going on, and things really, really escalated last night, and it has the potential to escalate even more tonight. I mean, we'll see how it goes, but last night, Minneapolis was starting to look like it was starting to get on the level of LA in '92. I mean, the amount of fires that were burning and um, like absolutely no police presence
CNN got
whatsoever.
whacked, didn't they?
Yeah, they and look, these riots were spreading across the entire country. It
Yeah.
wasn't just in Minneapolis. They started rioting in Atlanta. Things really started getting kind of crazy and on the West Coast, Portland, Antifa, and all of the Black Bloc, radical leftists out there started popping off, and Oakland started getting crazy. I heard that two golf.
That's always a place that seems kind of prone to this, and you've got Portland as well up in Washington State.
Yeah, Portland was. Yeah, it was just it was crazy. I mean, it was a wild night, man. And a lot of those places, they're already sketchy to begin with. Like, it doesn't take much for them to just kind of have like local civil unrest on just an average day kind of situation. Like, Oakland's pretty bad, and so with something like this on top of it, then it just stacks. But of course, the worst of it was in Minneapolis, and they were overwhelmed. That's why there was no police. They held a news conference in the middle of the night, like around 2 a.m, something like that. And the governor was just like, there was too many of them. There was we were completely outnumbered, and it it's sad to see, man, because now this is completely overshadowed. Yeah, it's completely overshadowed what the original protests were for, which was a legit thing, right? The the murder of George Floyd. And now this is what this is going to be remembered for, is the riots. And you know what? See, look at this poor guy right here. He's he's distraught over this. I mean, they're burning their own city down.
That's from the LA riots. They're showing that, which shows the parallels.
Yeah,
Scott, I wasn't correcting you, man. It was just before anyone else pointed it out, dude. You know what I mean?
No, that's fine. No, thanks for correcting me on that. But no, I mean, there's people expressing that same sentiment, and that's what's happening. I mean, burning down your own community is not going to solve the problem at all, and in fact, it's going to turn people off, and it is turning people off. A lot of people who may have been sympathetic to your cause are now going to turn against it because of this. And unfortunately, I've seen it. I've seen it happening where people who were legitimately concerned about what happened to George Floyd, now after these riots and the looting and all of this has taken place, that you're even seeing people going, well, screw George Floyd and blah blah blah. And it's like, oh man, you were sympathetic to the cause, and then because of this, it turned people completely against it. And people just need to, like I said, I get it. I really do. I understand a lot of the frustration and the anger over this, and I went over this yesterday. There is problems. There needs to be some kind of reform done across the board with the way the police act in this country, and we need to stop the militarization of police and really tamp down and get control of this whole kind of police state thing that's going on. You know, that's
You know what
a
really
thing.
struck me today, dude? It was the contrast, you know? A historic day for America and everything going on with the space and all that stuff, all that positivity. And yet at the same time, this division, what we're seeing in Minnesota, in Chicago, in San Jose was one of the other places listed there, Atlanta as well. And it's just such a contrast. It's 2020, isn't it? It's crazy 2020. You've got the good, you've got the bad. It's everything in between, man.
But that's always been kind of, it's weird because it's always been the history of our country in general. Like, there's always been like this, we've always kind of been at the top of, say, I'm trying to think how to word this. Like, we've been the best and the worst at things, always at the same time. There's always been this like duality in this country.
From the outside in, it's always been, for me anyway, Americans always do things to the extreme. Like if you're gonna do something, you go to the full length. You build a car, you build a big ass car. And you put an engine in it. You know, compared to us, we've got a hairdryer in our cars. You guys could almost take off with the engines you've got in yours. And it's the same, even the food, right? Big food, big people. And when protests come, it's whoa, it's extreme. And like you're saying, yeah, it's the best of times, it's the worst of time, but it's intense, right? That's what makes it America.
It is. I mean, and that's what's pushed us forward, unfortunately, I guess you could say.
I would say so, yeah, big time.
I mean, even when it comes to like our Civil War, right? We went totally big on that as well. I mean, it's strange. It is like we truly are a unique country.
You imagine the people that moved over there, Scott, though, your ancestors, well, not yours personally, but, you know, the people that colonized over there, okay? And they've got to be really kind of hard people, you know, kind of get up and go and face adversity and go all in, you know, giving up whatever they had here or wherever they came from to go to a new land in the first place. And I think that stays in the genetics. We were talking about epigenetics last night, right? So I think some of that characteristic, I mean, you don't get some kind of soy boy back in the day that would have looked at, like, you're going to America and starting a new life. I don't think they would have fancied the journey in the first place, let alone the hardship that was waiting. So I suppose that DNA, that spirit, that's in the American. That is America, you know?
Yeah, it's called, you know, there's a couple of names for it, you know, like rugged individualism.
Craziness, I call it.
Hey, look, it's the same sort of thing about like Australians, right? It was hard individuals who were sent there and built that country up, you know.
And they were met with some really hard individuals and some proper humans, man.
Yeah,
Proper.
Exactly. I mean, everybody there were some rugged people, you know. The natives that were there, rugged. Same here in the U.S. You know, natives here were rugged people too. You know, but they was living off the land and they weren't putting up with no crap.
And after the stuff I was reading today, Scott, as I was showing you in this book, we were far from the first people to roll up on the bays of Australia, let me tell you. And to add to that, this book that I've been referring to last night, it's really weird, right? Because it syncs up with Australia, like you were saying there. We had the Australian friends on, Jess co-hosting, Mammoth Hunter, Luna, Donnie were here. And the stuff that they were talking about in here, it's so bizarre, it's so weird. And remember, they were telling me it's like when you start seeing the synchronicities, that's you starting to get in tune with things. You know, you're hearing your ancestors, stuff like that. Well, this book isn't even the book that I ordered. I had ordered Bruce Fenton's book because I'd had him on the show and I wanted to read more about the Australian into Africa theory. But he also sent me his wife's book, this new one, Hybrid Humans. Scientific evidence for our 800,000-year-old alien legacy. I read to Scott what I kind of sent a message to Bruce. This is one of the most profound books I've ever read in my life, and the timing of it can't be ignored because what we were talking about with Australian people comes up time and time and time again in this book, but it takes the story of what Luna and Donnie gave us even further until Luna and Donnie come on next month, because I already know how that's going to roll. It's going to build upon what I know here, and then Daniela Fenton is going to be on the Kev Baker show. Yeah, she's coming on, Scott. So, huge woo on the way, man. Isn't it apt? We're in the cockpit of the dragon, you know, fired into space upon a phoenix, riding on Merlin's rockets. And here we are in our dragon. Ooga booga.
Is it red?
Oh, did you have to go there? Go and tell the audience. Tell the audience
no,
what I done when I was making the
just-
thumbnail, Scott. You can share a laugh with them. I had to change the logo a little bit, didn't I?
No, I'm just asking what the paint job was, Kev.
Let's pull it.
Just ask.
That red dragon there isn't familiar to anyone on my channel, but the one I'd looked at before that would have been very familiar. And it would have been like a Mandela. Would that be a Mandela? Would that have been a confirmation that it existed?
I'm not sure. But I do like that you've included Shinron from Dragon Ball
You
Z.
like that, dude? You like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Yep, and it must never be forgotten. It must never, ever be forgotten that you yourself, Scott, much like Elon Musk's spacesuits were inspired by the Avengers and things like that, right? It must never, ever be forgotten that Scott Lopez is himself an actual well, he's a character. There he is. He's Zordon. There is our Scotty Lopez. Look at him. Pretty good. Look at that, dude. That is uncanny. Uncanny.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah, see?
imagine? Though, can you imagine if like a spaceship turned up and the AI made itself all holographic and it looked like you? Like, imagine that. Anyone out there? Mammoth Hunter in the chat room. Yes, indeedy. Big shout out to our Australian contingent. G'day, Spot. I'm not having another shrimp. All I ever do is throw shrimps on the Barbie when I go to Australia, Scott, so no.
Hey, ironically enough, I mean, maybe synchronistically, we had shrimp yesterday, so.
Oh, wow. See how my life's working? Dude, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, man. It's getting bizarre. It's like creepy in here, man. I know. It's bizarre. What else have we got in the grab bag? Let's see if there's anything else. I was going to give us a quick ghost story. Oh, there's a crazy headline you don't see every day. We could file this under dumb criminals if we have a segment called that. I don't even know what this show is anymore. Well, not Zordon. right. Come on, Scott. What's that word there? How do you pronounce that, man? Okanagan. Hey, Okanagan. Cool, man.
Yeah, I'm used to seeing a lot of like native names because we got a lot of reservations and stuff here in Kansas.
Do you think it really happened the way that the grandmother says, or do you think she's a supervillain? Do you think she's covering for something bigger? Do you think she's a real grandmother? I'm only asking because you have to question everything these days, Scott, right? I mean, I found out today there's a new King of England. Somebody ought to tell old Queenie Lizard Breast, because last time I checked, she was still keeping her feet up. Or what do lizards have? Do they have feet? Feet? Is it flippers? Webbed feet?
Yeah, what do you call a reptilian appendage? Like a it's very interesting. Like a claw? No, I don't know.
Prince Philip. That's what you call her appendage. But yeah, let's see if we can do some Columbo here. See, we'll dig deeper, Scott. Diane Clark says she's seen a lot in her lifetime, but nothing like what she witnessed in her West Bank First Nations neighbourhood on Wednesday afternoon. And a naked man took someone else's vehicle, drove like crazy up the hill, hit the dry hydrant, comes out of the vehicle, goes down the road, goes back, takes a bath in the fire hydrant, stark naked. Clark told Global News. What do we think's happening there, Scott, right off the back? It's a bit of a strange series of events, isn't it? Bath salts, crystal meth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you brought up the two main suspects in this.
We don't need Columbo for this one. No.
This is we've cracked the case, Kev. I think you're.
Yeah, I think even Cagney and Lacey would have got this one. Water began gushing out of the sheared water pipe that fed the fire hydrant in the 2600 block of Bouchery Road. After the incident took place at 4:30, I heard the squealing of tyres and smack. Then he went up the hill. So a grey minivan was abandoned. Right, I want to see what he got done with. Charges of dangerous driving are being contemplated. You mean...
Contemplated?
I tell you what, dude, look at that. Canada. They're a bit chill, aren't they? You know, some maniac goes berserk. He just starts careering about naked everywhere.
They literally just
come here,
like,
Come here, Come here, you,
They pretty much just like validated the stereotype about them because there's so many memes and stuff about how nice Canadians are and all of that.
Maple Leafs and maple syrup, man. I'm telling you, that's what it is.
This naked dude probably whacked out on meth, steals a van, crashes into a fire hydrant, causes havoc in this neighborhood, and they're like, we might file charges, eh? We don't know.
Eh? Come here, you, eh? But I mean, come on, dude. I mean, imagine it, right? You just like committed some kind of crazy crime. I don't know what you've done. Let's just say you got naked in a van and like started running about in the fire hydrant. And then, these boys turn up to come and get you. Bang, dude, you're going to really think that's some strong drugs you're on if the cops turn up and they're looking like that. That's all I'm saying. They did different in Canada, man. Imagine that coming after you would go, that can't be real. That just can't be real. Compare it to the cops we see in Minnesota, Scott. You know?
Or you mean the lack of cops that we've seen in Minnesota?
The ones we used to see there, you know. The Mandela effect that was a police force.
I remembered that there was a police force in Minnesota at some point.
How dare I throw dirty accusations like that around? But yes, indeedy.
I find it funny though that like CNN was attacked.
Yeah, let's have a look at some of the. Hang on. Talk to us about that then, Scott, because I was asking you, is this legit? Because I was kind of saying, should we be kind of, bit wary? You know what they're like? Remember when they were like in Iraq and they were like totally faking it all and everything, dude? That's why I have to question anything I see coming from them, even when it appears to be what it says on the surface, I'll get the images here. Whoa.
The thing is that like it wasn't really. I mean, of course, obviously CNN's going to report it because it's their building, but everybody else was witnessing it too. So it's not like, yeah, but it's. I found it very, very ironic, I guess you could say.
Oh, that universal irony. This is like cosmic karma, dude.
Because this is the monster they've created, and it came back and bit them. Right, CNN and MSNBC, the media fueled the flames for all of this. They fueled all of this discontent, all of this civil unrest. They encouraged all of this to occur, and then those same people that they whipped up into a frenzy turned around and started attacking them. And I just find it extremely ironic and kind of funny, But they talked to some of these protesters and they asked them why they did it, and they said that they don't trust mainstream media, and that the only media that they engage in is social media, and that's where they feel that media exists. So like even a lot of these people, a lot of these like Black Lives Matter, all these like activist types, whatever, your SJWs and your all of
Snowflakes.
all of that crowd, they're not watching CNN. They're in their own little echo chamber on social media. And that's the thing, is that CNN thinks that they're talking to these people and nobody's really tuning into them. I think this is another example, and this is a more glaring example of how irrelevant the media has become. Because they're probably sitting there like, why are they attacking us? We're on their side. We've been, putting out the propaganda, from their point of view, and feeding them what they want to hear and all of this stuff. So why are they attacking us? It's because they're really not watching you, CNN.
And it's your turn. It's your turn to get cancelled. You think of the amount of people they got cancelled along the way, Scott, pandering to these same people that are now outside their doors.
See these talking heads on these networks like, Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo and Rachel Maddow and all of these people. They actually think that they have an audience that they're speaking to and that people are actually listening to them. When really, no, that was the right one.
That was the right one. Stop now. Stop.
But that's what's happening, and all they're doing is parroting the stuff that's already being said on social media by these SJWs and by the by that crowd in general. So I just found it interesting. I just found that a very interesting thing that, maybe initially people listened to them back in the day, when all of this was first starting to, I'm talking about like back during the Obama administration, right? When we really kind of started seeing the division narrative being pushed, that's when they were more relevant. But now there's no longer a need for them. Social media has taken over that role for them, and they're no longer relevant. I mean, the only reason you would watch CNN or any cable news network is, well, if you just kind of want to see a little bit of coverage of live feed of what's going on. And even that's kind of irrelevant as well, because you could go online and watch somebody streaming from the protest live on their phone, until Facebook decides to pull it down or something.
Pesky Faceborgs, I'm telling you, let me at them. Let me at them.
But that's the thing, is that now, Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, all of these social media platforms, they've become the source of information, the source of news.
I'm giggling because I'm seeing 555 in the chat room. I remember the Red Dragon ambassador used to come on and talk about 555. I hope that's not where that's coming from. I hope this. Have I become the butt of the chat room joke? I have, haven't I? I've become the laughing stock of my own chat room.
I think it's just a synchronicity. I think it's one of these.
I hope so, brother. I hope so.
You know what it is, Kev? It's one of those remnant memories that are coming back to haunt you.
Now, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but I am actually changing color slowly as this week progresses. Dude, the weather over here, man, I am telling you, it's like insanely hot. I off the charts, like in the 80s. Now, bear in mind, we're only coming up towards the end of May here in the UK. Now, down in the Riviera on the south of England, maybe. But, dude, up here, even up in Inverness, my mum was sitting out there looking like a tomato today. Oh, hot, man.
80s 80s Fahrenheit, right?
Yeah, 80s Fahrenheit. Yeah.
Okay.
Decent, yeah,
Okay.
decent, dude. Yeah, decent.
It's pretty decent. Next week we're supposed to be up into the. It's gonna kick in next week. Summer, summer in Kansas. It just arrives. Like there is no.
Ta-da!
Yeah. So it's been in the 70s so far this week, and next week we're going to be up in the mid 90s.
Sticky 90s. Nice. So let me ask you then, Scott. I seen the Trumpster in his Oval Office the other day. He was getting briefed on the upcoming hurricane season. You're my storm dude, guy. Come on. Are we looking? What do you think? And again, I'm not whether you're right or wrong, but I know you keep your eye on that.
You know what? I really haven't paid attention to what kind of cycle we're in as far as El Nino and La Nina.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to affect it. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of looking. I'll definitely look into that. But my gut, usually I just kind of go by my gut and just kind of how the season has gone so far. I think we might probably have an active season. I looked at a couple of long range models and it already showed that maybe something might be coming up in the Gulf of Mexico here in the next few weeks.
That's all you guys need over there right now, isn't it? On top of everything. Yeah, we'll just have a hurricane going on.
Hey, 2020, man. It would not surprise me at all. Severe weather season has been extremely weird this year. I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it because
Yeah, go for it, man.
Because I haven't seen a season like this in a while. It's just been really strange. So we had a lot of severe weather that happened down south so far this year, down in the southern states, like Gulf of Mexico states, and then Arkansas and Louisiana and Alabama and stuff. And a lot of people don't realize that there's a secondary tornado alley that we have here in the U.S. called Dixie Alley. Everybody talks about Tornado Alley up in the Midwest, Kansas, all the usual areas like Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, and all that. But there is another Tornado Alley area down south called Dixie Alley, and that's where it's been really bad so far this year. And I don't even know. We haven't even had really. I'll have to look. I don't even think we've had a tornado here in Kansas so far this year, which is pretty strange. I mean, if we did, it's only been one or two. There's just been this big low pressure system that is it's called a cutoff low, and it's just trapped over kind of the southern U.S. and it's just been spitting there for the past 3 weeks, and it's really disrupted everything, prevented a lot of severe weather stuff. So, I thought this year was going to be really bad with severe weather because the polar vortex moved away, but no, so far so good. We'll see though. Maybe it'll just be a late year.
There we are tomorrow. There we are. We're 23, which is 74 tomorrow, so it's a bit cooler tomorrow, man.
That's good temperature.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's still
not
nice.
bad.
That's out the back material, dude. Yep. It's definitely book out there. Chilling out. Get some vitamin D into me. Oh, yeah. So hopefully we'll get a good summer. That would be awesome. Hopefully we'll be allowed out to enjoy it. That would be even better. But I've got a quick story that you couldn't kill. I mean, you couldn't kill. You couldn't make this synchronicity up, right? I mean, we're here today. We're even sitting in the Dragon cockpit, right? Scotty boy, here we are. We're flying along. We're in the Dragon. And earlier on today, I had, if I bring up my Twitter again, hang on. I tweeted out something, because it was quite a moment. I was feeling quite, it was historic. I thought I need to mark this time, Scott. So I thought I'll try and come up with something a bit cool, a bit different, And this is what I tweeted out. And it is, when the dragon sits upon the falcon and reaches for the stars, you're watching something both historic and symbolic. And I've lost Scott again. There he is. Let's not forget the 3:22 launch time. Obviously, Skull and Bones, right? But
Ooh,
we're now on a stream that is, if I remind myself of the title, which The Dragon has liftoff. So me and you always kind of laugh about the fact that the website we go to most is Mysterious Universe, yeah? First story on Mysterious Universe today. Hollywells, ghosts, and a female dragon slayer in Ireland and the UK. So I think, Scott, we found our story to take us out today. Little bit of woo.
Also,
On you go.
Show people the picture that I sent you that of Giorgio's post.
Oh, wait till I find that. There's Bill Bean messaging me. Bruce Fenton's messaging me. I'm not just shamelessly name dropping, folks. It's just the weird, crazy world that you live in when you do a show like this. That's a good one.
I just thought it was.
Here we go. I'll pull it. Hang on now. Pull it over here. I'll put it on the stream. There we go. And let's see what this says here. It says, and this is Giorgio the Hare. Little side by side I just created for you to ponder. A dragon just ascended into the heavens on a pillar of smoke, looking like a fiery furnace. What do you people think about this in 5,000 years? Look at that. Isn't that amazing?
The
Isn't
resemblance is
that
quite
amazing, dude.
Where you see,
I'll brought up bigger. That's damn, dude. Nothing new under the sun, Scott. Nothing new.
What did the ancients really see, Kev?
Well, what did they really see? Was it even just us blasting off and arrive? You know, they might even been watching. It doesn't matter. It's another show altogether. Let me get to the female dragon slayer. But I want to tell her right now, if you think you're slaying our dragon, no. We've got secret techniques we can use in our dragon capsule here, young lady. So it says an interesting ghost story popped up this week concerning a holy well and the spirit who allegedly haunts it. Now, holy wells appear in many religious folklore, but primarily Christian, and most often in Ireland. Oh, I should have had It's My Ireland. I should have had that clip ready, shouldn't I? Dang! However, this particular story, and make sure you're still on the screen. I keep losing you, Scott. I've got that many scenes set up. I don't want to lose you, man. I feel lonely when you're not there.
It's okay. And sometimes I'm just.
It's like when I disappear when you're talking. People know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They know what I'm doing.
I sometimes disappear as well, Kev. It happens.
It happens,
you know?
dude. It's the busy lives that we lead, Scott. You know, you can't spend all this time just doing one thing on a stream. We've got other stuff to do, you know? So it says here, however, this particular story comes from England and a northeast county known for its abundance of these holy wells. Is its tourism bureau hoping to attract some paranormal tours once the hoo-ha Andromeda strain shutdown is ended? And what's the story behind this and one and holy wells in general? So in olden times, pure and reliable water was the staff of life, not that overrated everyday stuffed bread. The rare places where safe and fresh water sprang miraculously from the ground were known for miles around and were treated with the greatest reverence from pagan times. Now, as the northeast became Christianized, so the springs became regarded as holy wells. Many of them were dedicated to saints whose miraculous intervention was believed to have caused this life-giving water to gush endlessly out of the ground. So, before the Christian guy turned up, was there no water gushing out of the ground? just coming along and claiming it for you know what I'm saying, Scott. I'm being a tool. You know.
Well, yes, well, according to them, the water didn't exist before then because those pagan heathens, right?
Excuse me,
so,
it's ma'am.
so of course, they come in and then they basically spout the propaganda that the water gushing from the well was, divine. Was the work of was the work of God, the work of the saints.
That's what it is, man.
Yeah.
Those saints, they're at it again. Chris Lloyd writes in the Northern Echo about the pre-Christian origins of pure springs and their subsequent wells in the UK. So a quick way to find some is by town or location names like Holywell, Burn, Holywell House, and Halliwell Beck. It's not exactly a encoded message in there, is it? Holywell, yeah, kind of gives it away. The Northern Echo serves the Durham County area, which Lloyd points out is overwhelmed with old holy wells, and one in particular, Flass Well on Flass Street, is well preserved but due to a serious pruning. Why? So visitors can pay their respects to Jeannie, the White Lady of Flass Well. Every good ghost story's got a white lady in it, I'm just saying. So according to the research by the late Peter Jeffries in 1789, a maid, Jane Ramshaw, was decoyed from her house at midnight and murdered. And now that's old worldy language there, right? She was decoyed from her house. The crime caused a sensation. Several men were interviewed, but no culprit was traced. Although it is said that some years later, a soldier at the gates of death on a continental battlefield confessed to the crime. Isn't that convenient? Jeannie's alleged ghost in the form of a ubiquitous white lady that so many female UK ghosts are named is said to haunt the well and the nearby Miners' Hall. However, Lloyd gives skeptics a reason to not believe. Flass is an old term for marshy, and the ancient marsh was built and has long emitted mists that are the source of many white lady myths. Of course, marshes don't attract tourists. Ghosts of marshes and genies do. So what do you think then, Scott?
Well, I mean, but does this tie into the whole mist thing we were talking about?
And not only that, I mean, at the heart of yeah, I mean, you've brought that up a number of times now, and we always say that these stories they come from somewhere, right? I know some stories are just made up, but yeah, we've got the mist, we've got the white lady thing.
I mean, are we talking about an area of natural energetic, with natural energetic properties, possibly a natural vortex of some sort? And like I said, I mean, we've talked about this before. It seems like a lot of these weird things that kind of happen, it occurs in a foggy, misty sort of area, and just kind of makes you wonder. Yeah.
No, it definitely does. I think it's almost I think that foggy, misty effect must be the breaking down of whatever the membrane, or it's like the energy that's released when you have that vortex, you know?
I mean, okay, so I'll bring in a little bit of my kind of meteorological knowledge, and because we could tie some of this in with some woo, right? So where does lightning come from? A cloud. What is a cloud? It's basically mist. It's a water vapor, right? And what is fog? Well, fog is a cloud that is on the surface. So when you're driving around in fog, you're literally driving around in a cloud that has formed at the surface level. Well, obviously you're dealing with water droplets, water particles that are bumping against each other and creating some kind of charge, I would say. Um, I'm not aware of. I'll have to look, but I'm not aware of lightning ever occurring inside of fog at the surface. It might be possible, um, but it does make you wonder. Like, even though it might not be strong enough to create like a lightning bolt or something like that, I think all of those charged uh, water vapor droplets bumping into each other does increase the energetic level inside of, say, a mist or a fog or something. I would say the energy level is definitely different.
And even
So
interaction with a ghost, it can feel like static, like almost like a cobwebby effect. Now that to me is like when you put your hand near the screen of an old TV and you kind of feel it, kind of fuzzy
yeah,
effect, you know?
yeah. So it makes you wonder: does just fog in general, or fog or mist, does it just kind of boost the amplification of that area? You know, and so things can manifest in the fog.
That's why
Things can
magicians use smoke, man.
manifest.
Now I've sussed it. I knew magicians were real.
Ah!
I knew Copperfield wasn't faking it, man. I knew it.
I'm just picturing the stereotypical magician throwing the smoke on. Poof.
Could you have
And,
that? Would the woke brigade allow a magician in his very chauvinistic assistant ways that he had? You know, it would definitely hashtag me too, wizard. Wizards are gone, man.
And then people in chat are also bringing up water memory.
Yeah.
Water holds.
Oh, dude.
If you're in a fog, you're surrounded by water. You're literally standing in water that is just in droplet form all around you. So there's that. There's the energetic aspect of it. I don't know. I think there might be something to this too. And also ball lightning, which is a weird phenomenon.
You know, think of it though, right? We as biological machines, we're made up mainly of water, Scott, right? And that book again talks about the DNA, but we've talked about this before. We talk about DNA being almost hyperdimensional because it gives off biophotons. So you've got this water-bearing machine vehicle that produces these biophotons. Now we don't really understand these biophotons too much, but if you do have what appeared there, Scott Lopez, what came up first there?
You'll make me so happy. Dance like nobody is watching.
I was like a kid. I was like, awesome. Thank you so much. That must have been through like Streamlabs. Was it? Yeah, it was. Thank you so much. But what was that gift that came up first? It was like a mad we kid doing a mad shuffle, man.
But it matched with Connie's chat, so
That's really weird, isn't it?
did she send that through somehow, or
Connie,
that was strange?
Connie, tell us, do you get to send a gift? Do you get to choose the gift? Because I've never done it on Streamlabs. Maybe that's what it is, Scott. Maybe you get to choose the gift that comes through. I think that's what it must be. So, folks, there you go. That's something completely cool and new. It's not new, but not many people go to. I'm hoping we see Connie come back into the chat now, because she's probably going to wait to do that. And then we'll need to wait for her to come back in. But that was super cool. They ruined it. It should have been a dancing thing then, right? It should have been. We'll try it again, right? We'll see if it happens. We'll see if it works better this time. Look. Oh, I like it. I like it. Yeah,
You'll
she
make
get
me
to choose.
so happy. Dance like nobody is watching.
There you go. She got to choose. Brilliant. Because I was really panicking. Then I thought, well, I can see Scott's camera on Skype, and there's no little kid dancing. I'm thinking, anyone else see a little kid dancing? Did I even say anything? Thank you, Connie, so much. But let's finish off this story then, right? And then we'll start to wrap it up for the day. And folks, I'll be back tomorrow with Bill. Hopefully we'll do something with Scotty as well if he's free. But I want to find out about this Dragon Slayer. I'm kind of disappointed so far, Scott. I must admit. It says
Yeah,
it's kind of been disappointing for what it said on the tin, and looking at the side there's not much of this to go, man. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
wells and stuff like that. We'll see.
Yeah. While there are other, when it comes to wells, though, Scott, and I know you're away doing something cool, man, but I must admit,
Cool.
I used to think when I was a wee guy, when it came to wells, kind of scared me. I don't know where I got the idea from, right? But I used to think that if you were to go down the bottom of a well, you were going to the dark, fiery place, man. Now, nobody had ever, held me over a well and, traumatized me to think that. I don't know where I came up with that idea. But, yeah, wells, I don't know. Something about a well, dude. It's because you can't see. It's the unknown in that echoey place.
The world's deepest hand-dug well is located here in Kansas.
Why does it not surprise me? Let me guess. It's in close proximity to the gateway to hell, Stull.
No.
It would have been apt if it had been at the gate of Stull Cemetery, wouldn't it?
It's in Greensburg, Kansas, the place that was wiped out by the tornado that was rebuilt into a smart city or a sustainable city. But I remember going through there as a kid, like when we would drive from Texas to visit my uncle in Wichita, and I used to stop at the gift shop, go to the world's largest hand dug well because it's a little roadside.
Dude, that's literally
stop.
the world's largest rabbit hole.
Yeah,
In a way.
and
in a way.
and it is deep, dude. It is. Whew. It's got a spiral stairwell that goes all the way down. I can't remember how deep it goes. Maybe you can search it real quick. But I know we got to get to the rest of the story too. I'm sorry I derailed you. But...
No, I am fascinated by your wisdom on the well of Kansas.
Just type in world's
deepest
deep
well. Now this is the
well.
kind of thing I like to do. Do you know why? Because the algorithm's going, well, I didn't see that coming. The big well. Now, you see what an original name. That must have taken them absolutely bloody hours to come up with that one. It's a large historic water well in Greensburg, Kansas, US. Visitors enter the well for a small fee. You couldn't pay me to go in that thing. Descending on a Illuminati. Oh, I mean, it illuminated. I was getting all excited there, dude. I thought it was like people with one eye and throwing up triangles on your way down. Some Jay-Z merch on the way. Crowley on the wall, you know.
Yeah. No, I figure. Jeez.
Some dancing chickens at the bottom. Buck, you know.
I don't know. I mean, the new building that they've built around it, because that's the picture of the old building before the tornado. But the new building they built around it, it's kind of got that weird Agenda 21 architecture thing going on. Maybe there is something to it. Who knows?
We found it. I'm telling you, there's something to this. Built in 1887, 45,000.
Yeah, it was to provide water to the railroads, but it goes down
back those times, man.
feet. 109 feet deep, I believe, is how deep it goes. Something along those lines.
You would think it would tell you how deep it is there, right?
Yeah, you'd think.
32. 109 feet. 33 meters. Indeed. Told you it was an Illuminati shaft. I was right the first time. I bloody told you. You see? That was one of those Freudian slips.
Yes. Anyways, I figured I'd bring that up since you said you had a fear of wells. And I was like,
I wouldn't like to be anywhere near that thing, Scott. Wouldn't like to be anywhere near it. Somewhere where I'd like to go ghost hunting would be a mine. See down a mine shaft, man. See like one of these old mines, old gold mines or something. Now, there's two reasons I would want to go and search there, right? A, I would naturally be kind of shiting myself. right? So straight off the bat, I'd kind of be shitting it. And then, have you ever watched these ghost investigations in mines? I don't know if it's even just like it could be noises natural to like being hundreds of feet underground. But you add that to that whole brown moment you're having, and that, my friend, if you're wanting a paranormal experience, Scott, I suggest the mine shaft's the way to go.
You just hear this, ooh, you know, you hear
Remember
the
the one?
sound.
Do you ever remember the one Joe showed us? Remember, like you could hear like the guys working. They were like working. You could hear the whistle, and it's like the end of the day, and nothing, dude. Nothing. Absolutely nothing there. I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna find that. I am gonna find that. Yep. Haunted ghost mine or haunted mine. I wouldn't see. There's that many of them. But top 5.
Yeah,
I don't think many of us.
No. But it was like
Joe sent it to you or something.
Yeah, it was one of Joe's, but it was like this channel had like millions of views, dude. Millions of views. It was like a huge channel, and that might be it there, you know.
The Scottish government is easing the restrictions due.
Oh, that guy talks through his nose like that. He really annoys me. I'd like to poke him right in the eyes. Right, let's see. Nah, that's not it, man. Is it?
Creepiest mine tunnels I've ever been in, just because of how dilapidated it is, and all these chains hanging down from the overhead, and there's a shot looking down the tunnel even further, but still pretty wet. And taking a look around here back at the entrance. Here's a shot looking back towards the entrance. I'm a little bit further in, and looking down the tunnel.
I'm sitting. I've cracked myself already, man. I'm waiting to jump out my skin here in a minute, innit?
I hear that water dripping is like,
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at that. What in the shinoli? Can you see that, Scott? Look
whoa!
Holy cow.
I don't know why that one chain is swinging back there. Don't know if you can see that in the video or not.
The ambient air temperature also seemed to suddenly drop all around me at this point. I wish I hadn't read that. Now it's getting high. Nah, man, you don't see what keeps you in a hole in the ground, Scott, where there's ghosts playing about with big metal chains like that. What keeps you in there? That's craziness.
Yeah, we're gonna have to show Joe that, because I don't even know if he's seen that one.
No, it's not the one he showed us, isn't it? No.
Yeah. And he'd really
Definitely has a very spooky vibe to it. So I'm gonna head back out and check out the other stuff that's here. This is just too wet, too muddy.
Yeah, that's not the one. Haunted mine.
That's cool though. I mean,
sounds of workers. No, ghost mine. No, that's not it. Just watch that. A Soviet mine. Oh my word. No, I'll need to get that off Scott again. That's something. Not Scott. Joe. Sorry. That's something we could check out, because that was some really scary stuff when Joe showed us it. That still stands out, man. So it goes on to say here that while there were other famous holy wells in Durham, Galilee Well under a 12th century cathedral, St Cuthbert's Well, and St Mary's Well and St Oswald's Well, none have a ghost. They're just sites for wishes, wedding photos, prayers for healing, and the like. How about all of those holy wells in Ireland? Well, the website Irish Culture and Customs says there are over 3,000 holy wells in Ireland, many dating back to pre-Christian time, when they were considered to be portals to the other world, inhabited by gods and the dead. Where
Whoa!
where healing
on.
ceremonies took place, Sky, sacrifices were made, strange plants grew, and supernatural fish often appeared as omens. Okay, Scott, what on earth did we just stumble into there? Dang,
See,
dude.
the mysterious universe, they lead you in thinking, okay, this ain't gonna be, and then all of a sudden, bada boom, you get dropped with the drop kick of Woo. You know, look, maybe your feeling of unease going to these wells as a child was based in something, Kev. Now that we're talking about it, right? Like, are we talking about this genetic memory? Maybe there was something encoded in you where you knew.
Dude, you're stealing my thoughts now, man. We're in that sync. We're on tandem, man. We're hitting 37, bro. The magic number, 37, man.
Yeah.
You
So
got it. Yeah.
it says, they believed there were portals to the underworld, the undead or whatever the realm, and maybe you had that vibe, that natural intuitive feeling that there may be something down there.
I've never had that feeling you're talking about often, and it isn't the well that gives me that feeling. It's that book. I can't get that out of my head, Scott. I just can't get it out my damn head. And I'm the slowest reader in the world. The slowest reader in the world. Always have been. Crazy slow. Day and a half. 150 pages. Whew, consumed. And left awestruck at the end. Like, wow. But something familiar about it. And that's what's creeping me out. But we'll go on here. As in other places, Christian leaders supplanted these tales with more acceptable legends. Perhaps the best of these is the story of the holy well belonging to Saint Gobnait, a dragon slayer. So according to...
That's totally the name of a dragon slayer. Saint Gobnait, the dragon slayer. It sounds like a name that you would choose in an RPG.
Yeah. Gobnait of the Highlands. Yeah, absolutely, dude. I hope Elon's dragon doesn't come across any nasty gobnates up there on its way to the ISS. That'll ruin your day. So it's according to Nat Geo, Ireland is big on female saints, possibly because pre-Christian Ireland was big on female deities. As a result, early Christian leaders replaced them with women and had them symbolically slay dragons, the preferred symbol of non-Christian religions. So there was people that followed the dragon. Interesting. One such saint was Gobnait, a 6th century church founder in Ballyverney, who kept bees and was the patron saint of healthy living, fertility, and beekeepers. A well was discovered in 1952 near her grave and is now the site for pilgrimages. And while there is no details about the dragon she allegedly slayed, and let me tell you, don't let that get in the way of a good dragon story, it may have been a symbol for the plague, which Gobnait allegedly stopped at the border of Ballyverney by drawing a line with her staff on the ground. Hey, Boris, have you heard what you need to do? Boris, I've got it.
Yeah, Gobnait, we need you. We need you to come back.
Do you know what Gobnait was doing? Social distancing, man. Gobnait was putting down the lines.
Putting down the line. Yes. Okay.
So how about a ghost? Yes, there's a ghost of the well of St. Gobnait. Visitors claim to have seen a white, of course, stag roaming around the well. Now, a white stag? Hello. Now, that's pretty weird. Now, that's just one There are plenty more holy wells and ghosts to look for in Ireland once the Andromeda hoo-ha shutdown ends. And you may want to avoid drinking the water for a while. Not that it's got the Andromeda hoo-ha in it. Washing or splashing will probably work just as well. Either one is definitely healthier than kissing the Blarney Stone. And there, Scott, is the story of potentially a dragon slayer. But whether it Gobnait was a dragon slayer or not, she was the keeper of bees, which is pretty cool. And she never stopped the dragon taking to the skies today on the back of a phoenix, fired by Merlin's little rockets. Yes, pretty cool, huh?
I think the most interesting thing about that story though was the belief that the wells were portals to other.
You know,
I mean, that thing was pretty interesting. You know,
what else stood out was this, Scott, and I don't know if this is even a thing. It is a thing. A white stag. Now that's a really random thing to say that you've seen, like in reference to being a ghost, right?
There, if I remember correctly, I don't know.
Oh, come back. There we go.
I don't know if
Beautiful animal.
our buddy Naysay, Kevin in Minnesota is in the chat, but if I remember correctly, I believe like a white deer, albino deer, or if you spot something like that, it's got some pretty big significance, at least for the native people. I mean, I'm not exactly for sure, but that just kind of rings a bell in my head. But yeah, I mean, they're super rare, obviously. It's not like, it's not like you just see them all the time. So there's a lot of people that believe it means something, Yeah, pretty interesting.
There we go. In certain cultures around the world, European, Native American, and Asian, there have been stories and myths told about white deer. In European mythology, magical animals are striking in appearance owing to their supernatural shape, colour, speed, and power. A frequent attribute of those animals is an unnatural white colour. In Celtic mythology, the pursuit of supernatural animals is a common theme. The white stag, or hart, often appears in the forests around King Arthur's court. We were talking about Merlin a minute ago, right? Wasn't Merlin? Wasn't that around the time of King Arthur and the Round Table and all that?
Yeah.
Sending the knights on adventures against gods and fairies. One fable relates how King Arthur arrived at St. Pellinore well. Oh, well.
Oh my God.
Almighty.
Talk about some synchronicity action going on today, dude.
A magical sight without his hunting party or his horse after pursuing a white deer. The white stag was also the heraldic symbol of England's King Richard, or King Dick II, in Hungarian. And no, folks, Scott, I need to say this. There is not a new King of England. But there's nobody taking over the throne from Queenie Lizard Breath. It's what happens when LARPers got a LARP and the LARP's coming to a LARPy end. You know?
Don't fall into a lot of this ridiculousness, people. No, people in the chat are bringing up it's the white buffalo.
Okay, wait, but we'll check that in a second. Still is cool. But look how we landed on a story about a well.
Yeah. But I also there is some stuff in Native American culture about a white deer as well.
Yeah,
I think this article.
You see it here. It's just coming into it, Scott. It says in Hungarian mythology, a white stag led the brothers Hunor and Magar to settle in Scythia and establish the Hun and Magyar people. In Native American mythology, there is the Chickasaw legend, ghost of the white deer. There's also the Lenape legend about the white deer that predicts that when a pair of all white deer is seen together, it is a sign that the indigenous people of the Dawnland will come together and lead the world with their wisdom. I want that to happen. This might sound really, and I mean this, I know I laugh and I joke, but I so strongly feel we need to get that kind of connection back. We really, truly do. I don't know what happens when we get that connection back, but I really think that's how we kind of solve things. I don't know why. But many tribes and indigenous peoples throughout the world have similar myths. The Seneca, Roanoke, Algonquin, the Nanticoke, and the Pocamoke tribes. How did I do, Scott? Pretty bad. Not bad. All relate sightings to the great white deer, and apologies to any native people out there for me butchering that. In Kamakura, Japan, the Engakuji Temple, which was founded in 1282, is the head of the branch of the school of the Rinzai sect of the Zen Buddhism. I thought it was going to say like the kind of paramilitary arm of the Red Dragon. They're a herd of divine white deer are said to have emerged from a cave to listen to the... See if they had come out of a bloody well, I was giving up. And they emerged from the cave to listen to the sermon of the temple's founder the day it opened. White stags have long been associated... On you go, dude.
No, well, I was gonna say no. They weren't the paramilitary arm of the Red Dragon. See, they were white deer, so they were part of the White Ninjas.
Fulford's got a rain on them, right?
Yeah.
White buffalo. Before we go quickly, white buffalo, Native American. There we go. A white buffalo or white bison is an American bison possessing white fur, blah, blah, blah. It's considered sacred or spiritually significant in Native American religion. Therefore, such buffalo are often visited for prayer and other religious rituals. The coats of buffalo are almost always brown, and their skin is a dark brown or black. However, white buffalo can result from one of several physical conditions. They may be albinos, they may be leucistic, with white fur and blue eyes. Wow. And they may have a rare genetic condition which causes a buffalo to be born white, but to become brown within a year or two as it matures. And they may be beefalo, a bison cattle cross. I'd never heard of that before, Scott. Beefalo.
Oh, dude, beefalo are good. Tastes so
I can
yummy.
imagine, man. I like buffalo. I like beef. I'm gonna love beefalo. So, and thus they have inherited the white coloration. There you go. Who knew that we would end up with a show about cattle husbandry and the likes, you know? But that's how we roll here, on the rocket, on the Dragon, flying through space. It's been great. We're even sponsored by NASA up in the corner. Hey, that's triggered a few.
Yes, because Kev, you know that NASA in Greek means to deceive.
I'm telling you, man, you know that my good friend Brendan, he actually has like a NASA patch, official one, that he puts on his wall specifically for when he comes on KBS, because he's noticed in the comments that people call him the NASA shill. Guy's never worked for NASA in his life. He's an astrophysicist, but hey, and he loves it. He's like us, dude. He likes a bit of that kind of, you know, back and forth. So he likes to trigger people with his wee NASA badge on the wall.
Yeah, if you're easily triggered, then
not this channel. Don't come here.
I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm just saying. If you're easily triggered, then that just gives me the green light to trigger you even more. I mean that's just how it happens. Sorry.
And on that note, before we trigger anyone out there, well, Scott, thank you for joining me this evening. It's been great flying on the Dragon.
Yes.
Yes, we will broadcast from the ISS tomorrow. We will have docked at the station. This is #LaunchAmerica.
Oh, and you might SpaceX has a really cool thing on their website where they actually have a simulator where
Oh, you showed me that.
yeah,
X docking simulator. There we go.
yeah, and you use the actual
Controls.
the controls
Ah.
that the astronauts are using to dock with the ISS, and it lets you take a crack at it and see if you can dock. Really nice. I'm gonna have to play around with it later.
How crazy would it be if you were on acid and you really thought you were controlling it, dude? It'd freak you right out. Damn! Oh, whoa! Holy shinoli! What's going on, man? We're literally going up to the thing, aren't we? We're going through like a wormhole, man. Whoa. Is this like, do we ever get to the simulator, or does it just keep doing this, Scott?
You know, SpaceX. You know, Elon.
Oh,
It's gotta be.
wow. Come on, you're kidding me on, man. Oh, have I got to try and guide that baby in?
Yeah, basically, those are the controls. This is the actual controls that the astronauts will be using to dock with the space station. And the goal is to try to get that green
Up into there.
that green dot in the middle and successfully move it forward and dock and get everything nice
It's
and straight.
easy, man. It's easy. See?
You say it's easy.
You see, like we're coming in.
Kev's gonna kill everybody on the space station.
No, I'm telling you, man. This is it. It's my audition, dude. This is it. We're in, boys. We're in.
Remember, you're in space, so you got to compensate.
I know.
For when it's.
I know that, dude. I know. I'm telling you, see, I've read enough sci-fi books. I've been taught in space warfare, man. I hope it's like the sci-fi books. I really do. Let's see now. Need to slow us down a little bit.
Kev's training for Space Force right now. That's what's happening.
Oh, look at that. Look at this. We're getting good here. We're getting not bad. Oh, nice. I'm liking it, Scott. I'm liking it.
Yeah, you're lining it up. You're lining it up.
Look at that, boys and girls. Eh? Yep, I'll fly the Ark, thanks. I will fly the Ark.
Look at that.
Look at that, eh? You like that, Scott? You like that? Not bad?
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah.
Now you got to push forward.
That's okay. We're not. No. I don't want to get in that part.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I've had a blast. I like these kind of streams where we've got nothing really planned. We just goof out, hang with the crew, and I hope you've enjoyed our madness today. Dragons, phoenixes. What else did we have? Merlins. Whales and white stags, and me getting creeped out by that book that's too close to me, man. We might need to talk after the show, Scott. It's kind of freaky, I'm telling you, dude. Anyway, folks, I'll be back tomorrow. I've got Bill Bain. We'll try and get something lined up with the guys as well. But thank you so much, Connie, Star Dreamer, Polly, and all of you for just being here. Me and Scott, I mean, we just hang out and just do this ourselves, but we know that you like to hang out with us. We hope we get you something to think about. And yeah, we hope you join us again next time. Until then, I think we have to give it one more of these.
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
Has to be done. One of them.
How dare you?
One of them. Keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo. Okay. Hang on. Let me pull something up. Scott, you like strange noises, right? We look at strange noise. Well, we don't look at them. We listen to them, right? Might have a strange noise for us to listen to, like a sky noise. Bear with me, man. Bear with me. It's my mum sent me. It might be absolute bunk. Can't promise yet. But let's see. Where's this? Does anyone in Bryan, Texas hear this?
There's a sound screaming. It's like a scream. It's so freaking loud, and it's coming from up in the air, like up there. It's been going on now. What is that?
What the F?
I swear I saw like this thing when the lightning was flashing a second ago. What the fuck? Dude, that's coming from like up in the sky outside of my apartment.
I'm trying to get it to blow up so we can look at it down here. Hang on.
Okay, guys, listen to this. There's a sound screaming. It's like a scream. It's so freaking loud, and it's coming from up in the air, like up there. It's been going on now. What is that? I swear I saw like this thing when the lightning was flashing a second ago. What the fuck? Dude, that's coming from like up in the sky outside of my apartment. It's gonna do it. Listen. What is that? I haven't heard it like that yet. Gene, check this out. Listen. This is coming from the sky above my apartments. It's been going on for half an hour. Hold on. It's coming from up in the air.
Oh, what is that?
What is that?
I don't know.
So scary.
I don't
It sounds
know.
like someone screaming. Then it sounds like a bunch of like Indians whooping in the distance. What is that bizarre sound? Did you hear that? It's like a blood-curdling scream, but it's coming from like up here in the sky. Anybody else hear that?
That is like.
I'm really impressed by this video.
Yeah.
Oh, gross! I just stepped in a.
Thanks, Scott.
Dude, that is crazy. Okay, so that has got to be super, super loud because that lightning strike. I've been in a storm like that, you know, and in hearing the thunder, and then hearing that noise compared to the thunder.
That's loud.
That's loud. That is like super loud. That would freak me the hell out. Like I would be tripping
balls
out big time. You could tell it's like freaking this dude out, man.
That's why it's such a good video. And he's running about, no breaks in the film.
Now it sounds like it's coming from behind me. This is so bizarre. I better not
That has got to be some volume.
What up, Bob? I'm trying to figure out what this sound is. It's been going for like half an hour now. You hear it? But then it'll stop, and then it'll scream really loud, like a banshee. Hold on, wait. You'll hear it in a second, Bob. What up, Solomon? What up, Nessa? Hold on.
Wait, this is one of the most intriguing things I think I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, this is wow, dude. I don't know. I mean, we were gonna end the
Chat room are
stream, but
freaked out.
this is-
Chat room well freaked. I don't blame you folks. I'm freaked out.
man, Pearl just dropped probably one of
The
most
Moab.
intriguing. The Moab, one of the most intriguing videos I have seen, especially involving strange noises, in a long, long time. I don't think I've been this freaked out about a sound video since like the initial trumpet videos first came out. You know what I mean? It's got that vibe to it. I'm like, what the F is going on here, man?
I'm just gonna
And
take
this
a
is a
quick
long
look.
video too.
That's what I really like about it, Scott. And that noise, that's just that sound, that is genuine. That wind effect, the muffling on the microphone, it sounds about as real as I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's not like he's generating the sound in his house or because he's walking around. And yeah, zoom out because I'm not exactly sure where Bryan, Texas exactly.
Near
Okay,
Houston,
so it's
near Houston then.
okay. Yeah.
Not that big a place. Come and look, see if there's any obvious military stuff around. We'll need to zoom in further, but right off the bat,
Well,
let's go back.
I'm
There'll be a lot in
yeah.
Texas, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that we could.
Let's hear. There's still 2 minutes or so.
That is so loud and so, like, eerie. It's like a banshee, blood-curdling scream. Ooh. There it is again. What is that? If anybody can recognize that sound, please tell me. Woo! It sounds like, ah! It sounds very human.
I tell you, that sounds like Native Americans, right enough. But I don't know if that's because that guy said it, but it sounds like.
Yeah, because it's not just the scream. There's
It's
also
a warbling, like, woo! You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's howling kind of secondary noise going on in the back as well. That's like,
We having
yeah.
a time slip, and we like hearing through the veil.
So
what did you say earlier on? Storms, weather, clouds.
Just I was gonna bring that up. I was just about to say that. Like, okay, there's a storm going on here, right? There's a lot of electrical charge in the atmosphere. There's a lot of, and we're talking about storms in Texas, and they've had really bad.
Have you ever
storms.
heard weirdness like that? I mean, you look at storms. I mean, have you heard anything? Is there anything that springs to your mind you've ever heard like that?
I've never heard anything like that in a storm. I've heard weird noises in a storm caused by wind, like especially in storms that have had like really bad rotation and straight line winds and stuff like that. You'll hear like the high pitch whistling sound of high speed winds coming over your place or something like that. But that's a totally different type of sound. I mean, you know that that's being generated by the wind. It just seems like it's just being generated out of the clouds somehow. Are we talking about maybe like this storm opened up a vortex. Maybe something is bleeding through.
That's what I'm thinking. That's honestly what I'm thinking here. I'm thinking that at some time we're hearing the past. We're hearing something that used to go on there. That's what I think. And okay, listen, what we're gonna do though. When you go?
No, I was just about to say, I that's the only thing I can think of as well. Like maybe this storm has opened up a rift or something due to all of the electrical charge going on. And like I said, when was this video posted? Like,
oh, look at this Billy Joe. I've been playing it on my TV, and the screaming is making my dog pace and get nervous, Scott.
Interesting.
Right, so when is this posted?
Yeah,
28th of May at 2:39 a.m.
28th of May. So that was like, yeah, it was 2 days ago. Okay, so they had like really, really bad storms 2 days ago in Texas. Because I was like,
so the time fits then. The time fits.
The time fits. The area of Texas fits, and I mean these storms were big, so these storms were generating very, very, very high electrical charge, like lots of lightning and stuff like that. So since we really don't understand what happens in these storms, I've said it many times before. I think that the amount of energy being released by a lot of these lightning storms, or even remember I've referenced the blue jets that shoot out of the top of thunderstorms, huge gigantic plasma discharges.
You could take a look at my lightning video.
Yeah, I mean, I think we don't understand what these massive energetic discharges are doing on a quantum level. I mean, just think about that. I mean, think about the amount of energy released by a lightning bolt, and it's hotter than the surface of the sun.
I don't think a fox scream. I don't know. I've heard foxes when I was doing like night shift, and they can make some crazy ass noises. I don't know.
Yeah, we've had foxes around here. We've had coyotes and stuff like that. That's like nothing I've ever.
No, I don't know why people in the chat are getting confused. Billy Joe's got a dog, not me. I've only got a cat. Ken, definitely only got a cat. It's Billy Joe's dog that's getting scared right now. If I had a dog, I would imagine it would get scared at that noise. Now, we're trying to wrap it up. I'll go and take a quick look. I'll try and find your channel, Lothar. Is it just called Lothar? I really want to get back to this crazy noise. This was kind of crazy, that thing. I think we'll play our way out with the crazy noise tonight. That's what we'll do. Oh, my backup. I'll need to subscribe. Whoa. Right. Videos. Now, Lothar, this better be good if I've come over here. This better be good, dude. Where is it? Lightning. Weird thunderstorm. There we go. Oh, that does look like a weird colored sky.
Welcome. I would like to show you something very unusual. On September 12th, 2018, something strange how the lightning was. Or not lightning, more thunder. Very little lightning. The strange thing is...
whoa.
It was like a TV set. I've never seen something like this before. And I'm filming it out of my bedroom window at the apartment I work at. And it looks like it's being projected. It's like
Scotty, what the?
TV sets. I found it really unusual.
Lothar, you're in Canada, right?
Actually,
yeah.
Okay. I've actually experienced this in storms quite a few times here in Kansas. I know it sounds really, really weird, and it sounds really, really crazy. Now, as you can see, the lightning is almost strobing.
Yep.
Right.
Is it because of the angle you're at or something? The way it's coming down or something?
It actually looks like someone's got an old-fashioned...
What's going on is there's a lightning barrage taking place that is kind of off in the distance, so you're not seeing the ground strikes. But the lightning is hitting at such a rapid pace that the thunder is kind of overlapping itself, the thunderclaps, and so it becomes this constant rolling sound that just sounds like just this constant rumble, like that. And I've experienced that quite a few times when really, really big supercells have moved over. I actually have a lightning video that I posted. I don't have the sound with it, but I'm just trying to bring a little bit of explanation to this. It is really, really crazy to hear. I'll give you that. If you're in Canada and you don't experience huge storms like that often, I could see how that would definitely freak someone out.
That is freaky, dude. If I seen that over here, I would think it was the end of the world. I really would. Honestly, I would. I've never seen anything like that before, ever. And to be under that, whoa, holy shinoli. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this out, and this will take us out today. We'll listen to the remainder of this, one of the craziest noises I've ever heard.
This is crazy.
I mean, across the way here, there's no factories. There's nothing like that. So I don't, it's just it's a field. There's my dog.
Dog's going mad. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, because Billy Joe is just talking about her dog freaking out. So whatever is freaking his dog out.
Birdie! She's saying, get back inside. What up, Shelly? Listen to this. There's this sound coming from up in the sky in this general vicinity. What up, Kristen? And like it's been like doing this little vibration sound, and then it just lets out this blood-curdling, screamy sound like a banshee. And it's been like half an hour ever since the lightning and thunder started. Shelly, wait till it screams. Woo! I'm like standing in the middle of a field right now.
Back tomorrow, folks.
What is that bizarre sound?
Yes.
But before you go, Kev, I want to post this. Maybe play just a little bit of this just to show Lothar. That occurred 3 years ago, and I recorded it. There's no sound with it, but this was footage taken from one of our local TV station on top of their tower. Now, this is the kind of storms we experience here in Kansas. This is what a lightning barrage looks like. And I remember that night, and it had that sound where it was, you can see lightning just blew something up right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just, all you could hear was a constant, it was a nonstop rumble. It sounded like a low white noise. And I think that's what Lothar experienced. That's what happens when you get some crazy, crazy, crazy storms that come over your area.
And this, I've no idea what this is.
It's like a blood-curdling scream, but it's coming from like up here in the sky. Anybody else hear that? gross. I just stepped in a bunch of mud. What is that
We're
sound?
out of here, folks. We're out of here. I'll let you listen to that on the way out.
Now it sounds like it's coming from behind me. This is so bizarre. I better...